Hello, my name is Rebecca Thomas, and my project today is on fetal alcohol syndrome, also known as FAS. FAS is caused by drinking during pregnancy. It will affect a person's physical, mental, and behavioral abilities as well as their learning abilities, and it ranges from mild to severe, just like autism spectrum as well. IDEA has categorized it under the other health impairments. That is because of the listed things below. People with FAS have limited strengths. They can be very sensitive to environment that they are in. Also, it includes their ability to focus. Usually these people also have epilepsy or a health condition with their heart. And they also obviously adversely affects their education because they will need certain supports within the classroom. Okay, so what we have here are some facial features of a person with FAS. These facial features are very important when you are trying to categorize a person with FAS. If they don't meet certain facial features of at least 3 of the quantity, then they may not be considered to have fetal alcohol syndrome. Some of those features on the face are a thin upper lip, low nasal bridge, epithelial folds over the eyes, a flat mid-face, and those are just a couple of them. So like I said, a diagnosis of FAS requires presence of all 3 of the following areas: facial features, growth deficits, and central nervous system problems. The picture before showed you a couple of the facial features that are noted in people with FAS. Growth deficits that are usually found are really small circumference of the head and really short stature as well. They can also have growth deficits in their muscles. Their ability to grasp things are strongly affected by that. The central nervous system includes many different areas that I won't go over in detail just because it has to do with the brain and the structure, but basically, the important thing to know about FAS and to get a diagnosis is that you need at least something in all of these areas. Okay, so the child I came up with, her name is Sarah. She's a 6-year-old girl who's currently attending first grade classroom in Anchorage, Alaska. Sarah is a child with FAS, fetal alcohol syndrome. Sarah's mother did not learn she was pregnant until about 5 months into her pregnancy. She did drink during that time. FAS can affect a person's physical, mental, behavioral, and learning abilities, and their effects on a child obviously can range from mild to severe. Sarah is on the severe side of the spectrum. She experiences poor muscle control, organizational skills, problems following directions with more than 2 steps. She's epileptic, also considered very clumsy, hyperactive, and insensitive to others' feelings. Her physical features also as well reflect a child with FAS. So now that I've introduced you guys to Sarah, I'm going to go over areas of development: cognitive development, gross and fine motor development, speech and communication, social and emotional development, and then family supports and how we can implement some different strategies to help a child with FAS. I want to note that on every slide you're going to have a typical developing child and then Sarah and her abilities or what she struggles with. Typically developing 6-year-old in the cognitive area is going to develop an increased attention span at 6, so you'll be able to sit much longer than they would be able to sit if they were 4 or 5. They're going to understand concepts of normality, and they can feel concern for others or feel normal or odd or different. They can develop their own opinions and they begin to take a stance on certain things. They can identify numbers and letters and colors, and they can count accurately up to 20 things. Sarah struggles with math skills like rote counting. She might be able to count things up to 10 but not 20. She's lacking in that area. She has memory deficits, which makes remembering storylines or directions really hard. She might have learned how to do addition one day, and then come Monday, she has totally forgotten. She has problems focusing in the classroom. Her attention span is a lot shorter than other kids, so doing whole group lessons are a real struggle. She also has problems regulating herself, being able to stay still, focus, be calm, and also not blurt out things or act impulsively. Gross and fine motor. This is really important for children with FAS because they continuously struggle in this area, developing their muscles and keeping them strong. So for a typical 6-year-old, they should be able to learn how to ride a bike. Maybe they don't know how, but they can learn how to ride a bike. They can balance. They can walk a balance beam. They're able to cut and color in the lines using those fine motor skills. They'll have an adult pencil grip. They can skip, run, jump, bear crawl, throw a ball over their head, zip jackets up, tie shoes, button pants and shirts. They can do all those fine and gross motor abilities. Sarah is considered small for her age. She has a normal muscle tone, and so whenever she was a child, she wasn't able to eat and grasp and drink properly, which has had problems with her growth. She's considered clumsy at times. She can kind of fall or trip or tip over or knock something over. And Sarah is working on developing her pincer grasp for holding writing utensils such as pencils. And this inability to hold a pencil strongly has really caused her handwriting to be difficult to form and read and write letters as well. So when thinking about speech and communication, you want to think receptive language and expressive language. A typical 6-year-old has fluent speech. Their average vocabulary is about 5,000 words. They can understand abstract words and develop reasoning skills. They can correctly use plurals and tenses and pronouns. Sarah struggles with receptive language. She can have problems understanding abstract words, understanding multi-step directions. That goes back in with her memory and having problems retaining information. She also has problems with her speech when it comes to enunciating and pronouncing her words. She is considered to be a mumbler. For social and emotional development, a typical 6-year-old is becoming a lot more independent, a lot more conscious of their body and appropriate boundaries of what to cross and what not to cross. They are becoming very connected to people other than their family, developing those peer relationships, and they have higher needs that need to be met by people other than family. They're less physically demonstrative of relationships and expressing more through love or through sharing and talking. And they can understand complex emotions such as confusion or excitement. They can conceal their feelings a lot better. That comes back with self-regulating as well. Even if they're upset, they don't need to scream at the top of their lungs. They can use their words and say, I am upset. And they begin to form a broader self-concept and recognize their feelings and strengths and weaknesses. So they know what they're good at, they know what they struggle with. They also should be able to have sustained peer group interactions and have friends and make important, meaningful connections. Sarah struggles with turn taking. She can have very aggressive behaviors during play if she doesn't get her way. This goes back to that self-regulating idea. She has problems entering play. She doesn't really know how to ask if she can join play, so she might use aggression as a way to join a group. She can also be overly friendly to strangers. This goes back to the idea of wanting privacy and developing relationships. She might be overly friendly or too friendly to strangers, which can be very important to recognize when thinking about a child's safety in public. They'll also have problems transitioning from different areas as well, and they can have problems recognizing others' feelings. They don't necessarily understand people's facial features and look at them and be able to decipher, oh, they are really upset right now because they are frowning and have a furrowed brow.